Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare. So settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gills, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good to see you. Welcome to the office. Welcome to the morning grind. I'm Heath. I'll be your host. Today, I thought we would take a look at some of this new specialized, so-called, supposedly, specialized software called Plot.AI that is supposed to be used for screenwriting and storytelling. And we've been thinking a lot about that. I know there are a lot of people who are trying to write their stories and such. And I thought, well, we should probably take a look at that as we approach NaNoWriMo here, just in case, hey, maybe the AI is about to take all of our jobs, and or we'll be able to churn out the 50,000 words for NaNoWriMo effortlessly, and we'll see. But I've been skeptical of the AI story writing and screenwriting abilities in the past. I did a deep dive into it because this was several months ago, because I really wanted to know the state of what it was, especially when just Chat GPT. I believe that's GPT-4 I was using to see what it could do, and it didn't do anything particularly useful for me, so I wasn't thinking that it was going to be something that was automatic, or it's very soon going to start eliminating the story writing jobs. But then I did see this thing that was like more supposedly specially designed for script writing. And so I was like, well, all right, maybe we should check it out, especially since we've kind of been on that theme lately. So I figured we might as well do that together. So good morning. Let's see. We got Zero the Blade. Good morning. We got James. Good morning. Good morning. Zero says, yeah, anytime you bring up AI, things will get heated. So yeah, we'll see. Oh, Sable, you looked at this and wasn't all that impressed? If this AI can take over screenwriter jobs, then this strike was pointless. Good morning, Robert. Good morning. And Stray, good morning. Good to see everybody here. Visit the new Discord. We just reached level 2. I'll have to check that out. I know there are people who've messaged me on Discord. And I've got to write back, and I'm sorry. I'm also trying to get through email. I was trying to catch up on email all yesterday. I guess I have been through a major introvert phase, and I haven't been as interactive as I should have been. PH says, good morning, grinders. AI is as good as the prompt provided. Yeah. So now Robert's been able to do some pretty amazing things with AI in the world of creating a text-based adventure game. I hope that goes out really well. I have not yet, Robert. I have not yet. But I will. I'm going to go through all of that on the Discord. There's a lot for me to catch up on. I've been completely introverted over the last while. I'm still trying to get out of that. All right. But I will, because I want to check that out. And I'm very interested in what you're doing, Robert. Well, see, okay, Sable says, yeah, this AI is the prompt provided. AI is as good as the prompt provided is the best way to put it. This plot dot thing just regurgitates what you put into it from what I could see. It may help you outline if you know all the details of your storyline already, but it's not going to come up with a new idea. When I saw somebody that was basically going over it, it kind of reminded me, so we'll see if this is the case, but in the Screenwriter's Bible we've been looking at, one of its books inside is a workbook, and there are lots of different stories and guides, or like workbook guides, for trying to set out a story, of which this was one of them. And this is the 7 Steps to a Stunning Script, a workbook. Trying to sort all of this information and make sure you have information about your characters and the character action grid. We looked at this briefly the other day. And so so it's not like from that perspective, entering stuff about a story and helping you, or having some form or something to enter about what the story is. That's not really something new. This might just be an online way to do it, which is fine. And then, but can it help? How much can it help you after you do all of that? I don't know. Well, we're going to see. We're going to see. I don't know. It looks more structured. It looks more structured. But ChatGPT, I was going to compare it to something that I was trying to write. Because I was like, with ChatGPT, I was like, gee, well, can it sit here and write Rabivania for me? Well, it cannot. But I did do some rather extensive testing just to see what, can it? Because if it can, then, well, that does the world change in that regard? It really couldn't. But one of the things it might have needed is more structure, and it also needs more memory. Now, a lot of things that's a memory. There's the issues of persistent memory is an issue for a lot of different applications, and I know Robert has been running into this. So yes, let's see. I was going to bring this up. Oh, see, PH says, guys, yesterday I watched 3 YouTube videos from a channel in Prism where they were called What If Episode 7 Was Awesome, and the same title for 8 and 9. Really enjoyed. Oh, It was a description of another guy's scripts using AI to create the images and illustrate the narration. I recommend. Oh, I'm gonna look at that. Okay, I found him. All right. I wanted to check out that because yesterday, one of the other things I was doing, uh, I've got to make the Kickstarter video for the Christmas story. And I've been looking for an opportunity to get back into the AI filmmaking side of things because I also took a deep dive into that several months ago and was trying to see where the state of the art was. And it was really impressive, but not quite to the point where I was going to be able to do what I wanted to do with it. But things have really increased. I keep an eye on that like every week. Typically go over and search some different YouTube channels that post about that or AI in general. AI filmmaking comes up a lot. Image to or text to video or image to video. And it seems like in the last month, some really amazing things have been going on in the AI filmmaking side of things. And so I dove back into it starting yesterday to see, well, now, wait a minute, at least what could I do to come up with a Kickstarter video? Trying to get a workflow down because it's not magic still. It's not magic. The idea that, oh, you can just enter a prompt and then all of a sudden the entire thing is just going to appear before you is still not that. It's still not that. You still have to have a workflow, so I was still trying to figure that out. But I think that it's actually in a situation where it can actually make something that's potentially useful at a speed at which it could actually be useful, because you could also spend forever to create a 3-minute video, but that's not exactly going to help me. Because, like, first of all, you got to turn around something like a Kickstarter video much faster. But also, if you want to be able to put out videos on a YouTube channel about your world, which is what I've been trying to do for years, and you want it to actually be, want it to have a video component. If you've got to do 100 videos, or let's say you start with 25 or 50 and then move to 100, you need to be able to do them in days, not weeks. So that's an issue. So we might look at that side of things too. So I'm interested in seeing what the Prism channel has done here. So yes, Stray put a link, let's see, to the Indiegogo for Goodnight Sword. A lot of people I know who wanted Goodnight Sword or who watched this, The Morning Grind, got it on Kickstarter, but I have put it back on Indiegogo just in case anybody else would like to get a hard copy of the book. It's got 11 days left to go on the Indiegogo. This will be in for Christmas, so that's why I went ahead and ran it. It's a short campaign. That way, if anyone would like a hardback copy, Goodnight Sword is obviously my takeoff on Goodnight Moon. It is the first story that's been out in the Tales of Rabavania, and it would make a wonderful bedtime story for anyone who is of the right age for Goodnight Moon, but would like something with a fantasy twist. So yes, Goodnight Sword is right here. I'm releasing a table talk this afternoon. So actually, I have had a fantastic conversation with someone who's going to help out with the administration of Table Talk, because I need administration help over here. There's a lot of things that I'm trying to do, and I've kind of got the system down for them, but I don't have. But trying to get everything done day to day while still also trying to write and do other things is a bit much. So I found somebody, and we had a 2-hour conversation here. We spoke for about 2 hours yesterday, and then we're going to speak again tomorrow about coming on and helping out with scheduling Table Talk, doing a lot of the behind the scenes kinds of things, so that we're going to be able to do more with Table Talk, potentially with less, by taking some work off of my shoulders to schedule guests and schedule the shows, and then also on the back end to do the clipping, because we do the show, but then, okay, yeah, I know we cover a lot of topics, and sometimes like 5-hour live streams. And so those need to be clipped, and then that way we get, by topics that go on here. And so we're going to be doing Table Talk here. And hopefully that's going to get off the ground even more. Brianna and I are still working on Wednesdays. She and I actually worked last Wednesday on Table Talk and Dinner and a Board Game for about 4 hours. But mainly what we worked on was table talk and getting the system set up so that we could go and talk to this other person. So once we get table talk rolling, then Brianna and I are going to return to trying to get Dinner and a Board Game off the ground and doing 10 episodes of Dinner and a Board Game. So everything just takes a while. Everything just takes a while. And I'm a one-man operation. So there's a lot going on. But hopefully, like I said, I've done this before in the past when I have been the one that has established a system. That like I go forth into the wilderness and establish some kind of system and try to set something up, but then I need to teach that system and hand that system off to somebody else. So that's what I'm trying here with Table Talk and Dinner and a Board Game, to be able to get them running. Well, then I work on some of the larger projects as well. And I would really like to be able to get these self-sustainable. That would be great. No, I don't think. Well, she has been in the chat on Table Talk before. So, but you might not recognize her. But anyway, Table Talk. So today, and I put out a Dinner and a Board Game episode, but it was accidentally yesterday. I thought I was coming out at 6 o'clock on Sundays because I've got Dinner and a Board Game episodes to re-release on the new Dinner and a Board Game channel. So I was intending to release them at 6 o'clock on Sundays. But then yesterday, as I was going by, I saw that it was already being premiered, and I accidentally hit Saturday. So that's okay. One went out yesterday. So there's a new Dinner and a Board Game over on that channel. But then today, on the 28th, 26th, October 22nd. Yeah. No, originally it was originally. I've got the original air date down here. But also, this was a fantastic conversation. You're right. It is YouTube user. It is YouTube user. Right here. So I'm talking to Sydney Engelstein. This was a great conversation. If you are just coming in and have not seen this, she works at Indie Boards and Cards as a game publisher. So she has a lot of information on if you are trying to get your tabletop game traditionally published. What the state of the industry is, how to pitch a board game to a publishing company. It's really a great conversation filled with lots of information if you are somebody like many of us around here who are creative people and want to operate in the tabletop game space. So that will premiere then on the new channel at 3 hours, 1 o'clock this afternoon. All right. Oh, we got to do our reading here. I nearly forgot about that. We got to breathe and sip and then do our reading. All right, so let's get our coffee this morning. I do coffee right here. Let's do a breathe and sip, 2 deep breaths, complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. Then we will read from The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. So here we go. Got your drink? I do. Let's breathe. And sip. There we go. I'm still trying to get sleep schedule something resembling okay again. But since I wasn't sleeping last night, I did start reading Doug's book, Faraway Bird. So I started reading that, last night. All right. I believe this is what we did that one yesterday. Oh, why isn't it showing up? This is so aggravating. Let me try reloading. Zero the Blade asks, I need to figure out how to convert a 2d6 system to a d20 system. What TTRPG would be good to look at? I don't know. as an example of one that's kind of converted. Okay, a professional. Oh, here we go. A professional does not show off. We did do that one yesterday. A professional dedicates himself to mastering technique. The professional respects his craft. He does not consider himself superior to it. He recognizes the contributions of those who have gone before him. He appreciates himself to them. He apprentices himself to them. The professional dedicates himself to mastering technique not because he believes technique is a substitute for inspiration, but because he wants to be in possession of the full arsenal of skills when inspiration does come. The professional is sly. He knows that by toiling beside the front door of technique, he leaves room for genius to enter by the back. BGD. Good morning, BGD. Is this where I sign up for the resistance? We must fight our robot overlords for the gods, for the good of humanity. Different kind of resistance, right? Sometimes we fight with the resistance. Sometimes we fight against resistance, right? A professional does not hesitate to ask for help. Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer in the world, yet he has a teacher. He works with Butch Harmon, and Tiger doesn't endure this instruction or suffer through it. He revels in it. It's his keenest professional joy to get out there on the practice tee with Butch to learn more about the game he loves. Tiger Woods is the consummate professional. It would never occur to him, as it would to an amateur, that he knows everything or can figure everything out on his own. On the contrary, he seeks out the most knowledgeable teacher and listens with both ears. The student of the game knows that the level of revelation can unfold in golf, as in any art, knows the levels of revelation that can unfold in golf, as in any art, are inexhaustible. All right. That's our thinking for the day. Let's go over here. And I'll show you what I might as well share with you what ChatGPT was able to do, but not really. That's our thinking for the day. No more thinking aloud. So months ago, I was using, and I believe I used the GPT-4 instead of ChatGPT-3 to try to come up with, is it any good at writing a script? And of course, now maybe I was prompting wrong. Maybe I was using the wrong kinds of prompts and things like that. But I still wanted to know. I wanted to try to use different techniques to see if I could get it to write something that would be useful. The ultimate answer is no here, but this is at least what was publicly available as of a few months ago, which is not all that great. That doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't have something better behind closed doors. And it doesn't mean that somebody couldn't come up with some type of specialized script writing software, which now we're about to take a look at with Plot.io, Plot.AI. But this is what out of the box ChatGPT could do. Okay, Robert says I use 3.5 turbo at 16K tokens. 16K tokens would help. I don't remember. I don't think I had 16K when I was doing this. Anyway, this is the approach that I tried. So I said, for instance, here's the prompt. I want you to act as a professional screenwriter to write a portion of a script for an upcoming action medieval fantasy feature film. So I was seeing if it could do Rabavania. So I specifically wanted to know if it could do Rabavania. You will write an award-winning style that takes into account characterization, character motivation, has great action, and has very human and nuanced dialogue, which, by the way, it cannot do. The scene that I want you to write is as follows. A rabbit peasant, Philip, who will be the main character, and his mouse companion, Frank, are delivering supplies to a religious shrine. The purpose of this scene is to introduce these two in their ordinary everyday life, so they are discontented with, especially having to haul the heavy supplies. They need to knock on the door to a shrine to have it opened by Mirite nuns. They enter in a long passage that will soon be under attack by raccoon raiders. Within the shrine is Faith, a damsel of the royal blood. Philip needs to be surprised at the damsel's presence and should be immediately attracted to her. He needs to try to flirt with her, but then he blows it with her. When Philip and Frank offload their supplies, they should reluctantly start to head back to their dreary lives. This scene should be about 650 words long, which gives us plenty of time to develop the scene. We will call this script Option 1. Let's work out the scene in a step-by-step way to see if we have the best script possible. Okay, this is what it gave me. Interior, religious shrine, day. A long, dimly lit corridor adorned with candles and religious artifacts leads to a massive wooden door. A rabbit peasant, Philip, late 20s, lanky and shaggy, and his mouse companion, Frank, early 20s, short and wiry, struggle to carry a large, heavy crate filled with supplies. Philip grunts. Why do we have to do all the heavy lifting? Frank, mocking. Because, my friend, we are but lowly peasants. And it is our job to do the work of the gods. Philip says, I wish we could do something more exciting than this. See, it did not understand subtext. Subtext is not something that it was going to be able to do. Frank then says, trust me, one day we'll have an adventure, Philip. I can feel it. Philip and Frank reach the door and set down the crate, panting from exertion. Philip knocks on the door. Nun 1, 40s, stern and clad in traditional robes, opened the door. Nun, you brought the supplies. Come in. Interior religious shrine, interior chamber, day. Philip and Frank enter carrying the crate. They notice the beautiful damsel, Faith, 20s, fair and delicate, wearing a long flowing dress. She's lighting candles at a small altar. Philip's eyes widen in awe. Philip says, who is that? Frank, confused. You mean the damsel? That's Faith, the royal blood. Didn't you know she was here? Philip, flustered. No, I mean, I've heard of her, but I've never seen her in person. As Philip and Frank continue to walk, Philip clumsily trips over his own feet, dropping his end of the crate. He looks up and sees that Faith has noticed him. Faith, concerned. Are you all right, sir? Philip, embarrassed. Yes, I'm fine. Thank you, my lady. I'm Philip, by the way. Faith smiles. It's nice to meet you, Philip. Philip tries to flirt with Faith, but stumbles over his words. It doesn't even try dialogue here. Philip tries to flirt with Faith, but stumbles over his words. Philip, nervous. You know, my lady, you light up this place more than all these candles combined. I guess that might be an okay line. That might be an okay line, but because it's supposed to be something bad that he's saying, but that might be that. Faith, surprised. Oh, thank you, I suppose. Frank whispers, smooth, Philip, real smooth. Philip shoots Frank a dirty look, and they continue to unload the crate. Faith watches them, bemused. Religious shrine, inner chamber, later that day. Philip and Frank finish offloading their supplies while Faith finishes lighting the candles. The chamber is now fully illuminated, casting a warm glow on the group. Nun 1. Thank you for your help. May the gods bless your journey back. Philip, bowing. Thank you, sister. It was an honor to serve. Philip hesitates for a moment, glancing at Faith. Philip, stammering. And, it was nice meeting you, my lady. Faith smiles politely. Faith, you too, Philip. Safe travels. Philip and Frank begin to leave the shrine, their hearts heavy with the knowledge they must return to their dreary lives. See, there is no subtext. Like I said, I told it in the prompt. Okay, then they need to be upset that they've got to return back to everyday, their dreary lives or whatever I actually said. So that just says it here in this script. As Philip and Frank exit the shrine, they hear distant shouts and sounds. This is too much talking. Yes. That's actually pretty good as a bad pickup line. Right. If you need a bad pickup line, a good bad pickup line, that was the highlight of what it wrote. Calling this pedestrian is giving it too much credit. I know this is baby's first script. So this is not good. Turn red, Stray says. It wrote a novel, not a movie. This dialogue goes on for more than a single page. Yeah, there's nothing short or terse about it at all. It's not punchy. It does not get to the point. So what I tried then was I said, does the above conform to all the job requirements given above and represent your best effort at crafting the script? If not, please provide a rewrite. And so it then generated, I'm not exactly sure what the difference is, but I was intentionally trying to have it reflect on its own work, right? So I asked it to reflect, and then it produced this. I had to say continue in order to continue to get the prompt. So I was trying to call this option 1, and I said, okay, so that was option 1. Well, Sable says, problem is I can actually see this having written a lot of the crap that's being put out on streaming services, shows, or whatnot. Well, now we can identify this, right? You're like, this is what ChatGPT, like I said, publicly available ChatGPT a few months ago was able to do. So then I said, let's start from the very beginning and let's write a second draft of this script, completely rethinking it, but still following specifications. This time, let's have it take inspiration from the movie The Kingdom of Heaven, specifically to give it a harsher edge and a darker tone. Call this script option 2. So the religious, all right, so I have to do this. So I do this again. And it does change it up a little bit. You can kind of see that we get some kind of Kingdom of Heaven influence here. So why must we be burdened? Philip says this time, why must we be burdened with such tasks? Because, Philip, we are peasants in this harsh world, and we must serve the powerful. So I think it's funny because I said that I want a Kingdom of Heaven, specifically harsher edge and darker tone. So it interpreted that by changing up the dialogue in these weird ways. I'm tired of this life, Philip. There has to be more to life than just servitude. Perhaps, Philip, but for now, this is our fate. They reach the door, muscles straining, and set the crate down. Philip knocks hesitantly, and this time the nun, rather than being in traditional robes, is clad in tattered robes. Oh, okay, I see, I gotcha. So, it's not that much better here. Philip attempts a flirtatious smile, but it falls flat in the heavy air of the chamber. Faith offers a faint, polite smile in return. You have our gratitude. May you find solace for your journey. So it, you're right, exactly, on the nose. I know it does not do subtlety. It cannot figure that out. So wow, on the nose doesn't even begin to describe how on the nose this is. Oh my gosh, this is worse. I know. Yes. So I did say, so how it did, it came up with less subtext. So I did it again. I said, analyze the above script. Did it conform to all the specifications of the project and your best effort at fulfilling it? This time I didn't have it rewrite because I was like, I wanted it to specifically give me an analyzation of that. So when I analyzed that, it says, upon analyzing the script I provided, I can see that it adheres to the given specifications and takes on a darker tone, inspired by the movie Kingdom of Heaven. The script maintains the original scene concept with Philip and Frank delivering supplies to a religious shrine and introduces them in their ordinary everyday life. The scene also includes the interaction between Philip and Faith, showcasing Philip's instant attraction to, I don't know if it really showcased Philip's instant attraction, and failed attempt to flirt with her. The script maintains the introduction of raccoon raiders, setting the stage for future conflict. The darker tone and harsher edge, as requested, are reflected in the dialogue with no subtlety at all. So the darker tone and harsher edge, as requested, are reflected in the dialogue, the description of the environment, and the character's emotions. This draft, tiled option 2, represents my best effort at fulfilling the project specifications while giving it a unique and distinct approach as compared to the first draft, option 1. Right. Hey, Charlie. So James says, Heath, prompt for more atmosphere and subtext. AI, I must not have been clear enough. I will be more direct. So then I said it again. I said, let's start from the very beginning and write a third draft of this script, completely rethinking it, but still following specifications. This time, let's take inspiration from the Fellowship of the Ring movie by Peter Jackson for the tone. I also want you to specifically take care. So I said, I want you to specifically take care to reduce the number of parentheticals used, because it used a lot of parentheticals. Only use them if they are necessary to communicate essential stage directions for the actions. Call this script 3. So this is what it thinks that scene would be like, inspired by the Fellowship of the Ring. An ethereal corridor, illuminated by flickering candlelight and adorned with exquisite religious frescoes, leads to an ancient wooden door. Then we introduce Philip and Frank. Philip, do you ever wonder if there's more to life than just carrying crates, Frank? Of course, Philip, but for now, we have a duty to fulfill. The pair reaches the door and sets down the crate. Philip knocks. The nun, this time she is serene and wise, opens the door. Welcome. You brought the supplies we need. Please come in. I blame Implacable, the ship, for the nun's second appearance. This time they see the damsel. Philip says, who is that enchanting lady, Frank? That's Faith of the royal bloodline. She sought sanctuary here. How Frank knows that, I have no idea. But Frank always just comes in. Like, notice that several of these, Frank just comes in with information to let everybody know. He just knows these things. Philip and Frank become Ariel from The Little Mermaid. How do you know she's wise just by looking at her? I don't know. Carrying the crate tries to catch Philip's eyes, but she remains focused on the task. They unload their supplies near the altar. Faith looks up and her eyes meet Philip's. Thank you for bringing these. We're grateful for your service. Oh, yes, our pleasure, my lady. This time, for some reason, Philip is Faith is arranging flowers. We don't even have the good bad pickup line here. They see raccoon raiders this time. Philip says, Frank, we must protect the shrine and the people within. Frank says, but we're not fighters, Philip. What can we do? Philip says, we must try, Frank. It's the right thing to do. Summoning their courage, Philip and Frank find makeshift weapons among the supplies and brace themselves for the incoming conflict. So they want to be where the people are. I did it again, this time with the 1938 movie, The Adventures of Robin Hood, is inspiration. So it regenerated it again. Again, like with the overtime, may fortune favor you on your journey. It's the way they speak that changes up the most. So I tried several times. Okay, so then what I did, no one talks like this, right? No one talks like this. So here's what I did. So again, trying to make it think about things, and we're going to get to Plot.ai, but obviously this is where the state was with just ChatGPT, trying to work with it as best I could. Because then I said, now you will assume the role of an expert and award-winning head writer tasked with investigating the 4 possible script options provided above, as if they were submissions from students that you must critique harshly. So can it critique these harshly? Let's critique and analyze each option in detail, taking special care to consider their literary merit, story structure, characterization, character motivations, as well as nuance. Let's take a look at nuance and believability of character dialogue. Let's go step by step and be comprehensive to be sure we have detected all the flaws and errors in each script. So it does that. I tell it to critique option number 1. And it provides, what does it tell me about the dialogue? It says the dialogue is fitting for the lighthearted tone, but it tells me it could benefit from more nuance and subtlety. Yeah, it could. The flirting attempt between Philip and Faith is portrayed as rather clumsy, which could be refined for more engaging interaction. That's actually the only thing that we actually kind of liked about that one. Character motivations. The character motivations are clear, but there is potential for more nuance. For example, it would be beneficial to delve deeper into why Philip and Frank feel discontented and what they hope to gain from their journey. Yeah, it probably would. It actually says that we thought that dialogue from 2 was not nearly as nuanced. It became less nuanced, but it thought the dialogue was more nuanced in option 2, reflecting the darker tone. The interaction between Philip and Faith is more engaging, but there's still potential for improvement. The number 3 was the Fellowship of the Ring. It says the dialogue in option 3 is more sophisticated and believable. The interactions between the characters are engaging, but there's still room for improvement in terms of depth and nuance. Its critique is all not that great. So it did that. So, all right. The AI has reviewed the AI's writing and has found the AI has written excellent screenplay. No revision necessary. Right, exactly. No, exactly. So I was trying it. So the reason it says that is because I prompted that, right? It says that I was specifically trying to get it to pay attention to nuance and subtlety. And so that's why it also started throwing those words in there. So, but then I said, all right, well, based on that, so you can see I tried to work with it. I tried to work with it in a deeper way than just saying, hey, I need a movie script about medieval rabbits, action adventure movie script about medieval rabbits. Enter what shows up. I knew that wasn't happening. I knew that wasn't going to happen. So, I tried to use what at the time was some of the best practices for getting AI self-reflection and all of that to actually try to improve the script and work through it, because I knew there's also the token issues. This is not going to be able to put out a 90 to 120 page script in one go anyway. So I was really going to try to step it through all of these steps to see if we got anything interesting. But because then I said, you are now the expert writer director of the upcoming feature film, tasked with 1, finding which of the 3 best script options the head writer thought was best, improving that script by integrating the best elements of the script options as they were identified by the head writer, and writing the improved script in full. Let's think this through in a step-by-step way to make sure we have the best script possible. Remember that we have up to 640 words to fully develop the scene, and it needs to be extremely gripping and draw the audience into the film and into the world. So the writer-director said that according to the head writer's critique, option 4 is the most well-rounded and engaging script. It effectively incorporates historical fiction elements, has a consistent tone, and features well-developed characters. Step 2, improve the script by integrating the best elements of each option to create the best script possible. We can integrate the following elements from the other script. It says that we need the action adventure feel from option 3, the nuance and depth of character motivations and dialogue from option 2, and then focus on further developing Faith's character and motivations. Okay, so what did it say? The sunlit corridor of an ancient religious shrine leads to a large ornate wooden door. The rabbit peasant Philip, late 20s, courageous and good-hearted, and his mouse companion Frank, early 20s, quick-witted and agile, struggled to carry a heavy cart filled with supplies. Philip, do you ever dream of a life filled with adventure and purpose? Frank says, I, Philip. So I don't know where I came in. That must have been from Errol Flynn's Robin Hood. I, Philip. But for now, we have a duty to uphold. The pair reaches the door and sets down the crate. The compassionate and wise nun opens the door. Oh, you brought the supplies. Come on in. That's when they see Frank. Who is that maiden? Who is that fair maiden, Frank? Frank says, that's Faith of the royal lineage. She's taken refuge in this holy place, seeking answers to her troubled heart. How does Frank know that? Oh, it does say crate. They're hefting the crate. They carry the crate. Philip tries to impress Faith with a confident stride. They that always does it, guys. You're trying to impress a woman. Just you got to impress her with your confident stride while carrying a crate. They unload the supplies, and Faith looks off, offering a smile of gratitude. Faith, thank you for your service. We are truly grateful. Philip, the honor is ours, my lady. Philip flashes a gallant smile, hoping to charm Faith. She returns the smile, then continues, tending to the wounded knight. Oh yeah, so now she's tending to a wounded knight, because I guess that's the darker tone from like Kingdom of Heaven, I guess. So she should be talking to a wounded knight. So anyway, they unfinished. Thank you. The nun says thank you. Philip, as they prepare to leave, Philip takes one last longing look at Faith. Philip says, "Farewell, my lady. May our paths cross again." Faith says, "Safe travels, Philip, and may you find the adventure you seek." Did they even have that conversation? And then raccoon raiders show up, and once again they try to find makeshift weapons. So anyway, I tried to give it some examples of Star Wars, and like, all right, can we rewrite some of this using some other examples? But anyway, I came to the conclusion that basically, no, this was not a useful exercise. So that was where that's where that went. It's just getting worse. How can it get worse? Zero the Blade says, "I'm sure if you try enough, it will work. It will work. That is, it will work. That's how AI work. If it doesn't evolve into Gen 6 or Gen 7, if it doesn't evolve to Gen 6 or Gen 7, it won't get better." Yeah, we'll see. Now, I mean, we'll see. Like, I still want to keep following. I still want to keep following because I want to know. Robert, it has to get worse before it get better. AI evolution is a pain. So we'll see. So anyway, I came to the conclusion that that really wasn't useful. I haven't really found it useful. I found for writing scripts, there are a couple of situations where it can be useful. It's great for brainstorming. If I am genuinely stuck on something, and I'm looking at a blank page, I can go over to ChatGPT and be like, all right, what I'm trying to write is this. And if I type it out, all right, this is the scene I'm trying to get across. It does generate something, but but then you realize, why that's terrible. But then also, if you're trying to brainstorm something like, oh, I need like give me 10 different reasons why this could happen or what the motivation of this can be. It will come up with 10 different things. And then oh, no, wait a minute. Maybe this one does give me some type of clue about some kind of direction to go. So it does that. One of the better things I've seen it do is edit something if something is too long. Like if you've got something that is 400 words but only needs to be 350. And so and you're like, how do I cut this down? I've noticed that I can give it to ChatGPT and ask it to, cut down the word count and do some editing. And it does do that. I've often found that that's actually pretty good. I don't realize what's missing immediately. I'm like, oh, well, that was actually a pretty good cut down edit. So there are a couple things it can do, but yeah, it's not generating, even trying to give it a lot of help. It wasn't generating a lot. So at the moment, I would say the screenwriter's jobs are secure when I was doing that. Bob Iger is not going to be able to go to ChatGPT and say, hey, give me the next Marvel movie and hit enter and have the script, much less the whole AI filmmaking. That's not happening at the moment. It is boring. It is boring. Okay, so being that was my experience several months ago, I was going to go over here to Plot.ai because I had just heard about this. And I was like, well, let's see if something that is actually dedicated, because ChatGPT is general purpose. So is there something that is more dedicated that might be able to help us out? So we'll just see. I wanted to experiment, and I haven't experimented with this at all yet. So we will just see what you're supposed to do with it. Transform ideas into fully fledged scripts in hours instead of days with our industry redefined AI-powered screenwriting assistant. So it says, Plot.ai is a state-of-the-art generative AI designed exclusively for crafting compelling scripts, engaging characters, and powerful plots. When you're facing the blank paper syndrome or looking to augment your own storytelling, Plot.ai is your creative companion. Sable says, if a screenwriter is worried that AI will take his job, that's an indictment of the screenwriter's skill more than AI. Yeah, well, and on the another point on that subject, I know a major point of the strike was about can something AI generated be source material? Like, can you be forced to work from something that's AI generated? I might be able to see some moron generating something like we just generated with ChatGPT and saying, all right, I got the start of the script. This is how this is going. Now I want you to clean that up. But cleaning that up, like, that's just a rewrite. I mean, that's just you're not getting any usable material beyond what was in the prompt. I mean, the prompt is you're saying, well, here's what the story is trying to be and what we need to do. You didn't get any kind of usable material that's back out. I guess I could see some moron trying to say, no, but now you're just editing the script, when really, I mean, you've got nothing usable there. Okay, so this says, this screenwriting assistant guides you from ideation to a fully fledged script. Kickstarts your script writing journey with Plot.ai, whether you're starting with a spark of an idea or selecting our curated list. It's more rewrite. It's more work to rewrite that schlock than just go and start over from blank. Yeah. Because everything would have to be reworked. Premise definition. Every story needs a core. Define your soul of yours by establishing a compelling premise, incorporating a robust plot, dynamic setting, structured narrative, and engaging genre. Protagonist crafting, antagonist development, supporting cast development, plot structuring, act design. The only generative AI solely dedicated to screenwriting. Bridging talent gaps. Overcoming creative hurdles. Unique. Okay, so this, let your imagination run wild with Plot.ai. All right, so let's see what this does. How we actually... Oh, start writing. Okay, start writing in English. Okay. Zero the Blade says, this definitely seems to be a Gen 2 at best, which is why it gets so confusing. So let's see. I don't know what we're doing here. So we're going through it together. It says sparkle start. Sounds good. No idea is too small or too big for Plot.ai. And maybe we should try to generate the same thing and see how it does. So enter your creative inklings or pick from a list of fresh ideas to kick things off. Genre. Action adventure. Theme. Bravery. Audience. Young adult. Okay, well, wait a minute. It already says that I can unleash ideas based just on that. Title. Sparking creativity. Okay. Suggested ideas. Braveheart. The Last Samurai. Gladiator. The Patriot. 300. Well, I would say those are... Is it telling me to like start from the idea of one of those? What happens when I click on one? Let's click on Braveheart. Blueprint beginnings. Okay, hang on. Let's not do that. Let's not. Wait. Start writing. English. So we're trying to do action adventure with a theme of bravery for young adults. Rebavania. A young rabbit peasant finds greatness. All right. I liked The Patriot. The Patriot was just an attempt to make Braveheart set in the American Revolution. I enjoyed both of them. Let's see. Grand scheme. No idea is too small or big for Plot. Each story needs a soul. Define yours with a riveting premise that includes a killer plot, core plot, an exceptional setting, a gripping structure, and a genre that keeps the audience hooked. So this is why I was saying this is more like trying to work through a workbook here, like an AI powered workbook, which that's we'll see how bad it is. But I mean, and on the whole, that's not a general idea. Not a bad idea, because other books like the Screenwriter's Guide are going to have you go through like a workbook kind of approach toward making sure that you have all the structure elements. So it wants to know the central idea, the setting, the structure. What's the overall structure of your screenplay? See, now we've got the hero, but that's locked. I wonder if it's locked because I've got to fill this out. So let's see. Let's just brew a premise. Let's see. Something tells me whatever that comes up with isn't going to be all that great. Cooking up creativity. Okay, central idea. A young rabbit named Thumper dreams of becoming a knight and serving the kingdom, but his peasant upbringing seems to doom him to a life of poverty. When he bravely rescues the princess from a wolf attack, the king rewards him with knighthood, allowing Thumper to find greatness. Okay, central idea. Ruby, a sassy city rabbit, gets forced to spend a summer at her uncle's farm, where she befriends a free-spirited boy rabbit named Jack and learns to embrace adventure. Central idea. After a magical spell turns the kingdom human, a daring rabbit prince goes on a quest to reverse the spell and return his people to their true forms. So this would be central idea. A medieval setting, medieval rabbit kingdom, structure, the hero's journey, genre, adventure, subtext, coming of age, theme, believing yourself allows you to achieve greatness, voice, whimsical, earnest. It's both whimsical and earnest. Style, live action with CGI rabbits, a PG rating, goals to become a knight, to serve the kingdom honorably, to prove himself worthy, conflicts, his peasant status, prejudice against his background, dangerous threats from the kingdom. Okay, so, all right, well, okay. So there we go. So that, okay. James says, it looks like it standardized its prompts behind the scenes, and you just enter the variable parameters. I test apps this way. I mean, I build the background too, but it looks similar. That's kind of what I was thinking that it was doing with this, like with this workbook style approach. That is, yeah. So it's helping you enter the parameters for prompting and things that you wouldn't necessarily think of. So, okay, so this is the hero's journey. So this is actually the hero's hatching. Let's shape your protagonist, their backstory, unique abilities, and personality traits. Let's see. He is, well, we'll give it Philip again. Philip here, we'll make him 14, male, peasant. Provide a brief backstory for your protagonist. What experiences have shaped them into the person they are today? Personality, appearance, character arc. Well, let's just tell it to shape hero, and let's just see. Sparking saga. So if you had worked through all of this on your own, I think that's what Sable was saying much earlier. Well, if you knew your story or you were trying to come up with one and didn't know all of these different things about your characters, well, this would walk you through it. This is the irony of the AI prompting the user. Oh, okay. So I got 3 different options here. Thumper, Cottonfoot. Thump, age 12, gender male, peasant. Born a peasant, Thumper dreams of becoming a knight despite his lowly status. He's crafty and streetwise thanks to growing up poor. Well, that one sounded most like what I originally put in. So let's click that. So now we've got a hero. Okay, so it tells me that Thumper is a 12-year-old male peasant rabbit with brown fur, floppy ears, and green eyes. Despite his lowly status, he dreams of becoming a knight one day. He's crafty and streetwise from growing up poor. Thumper is earnest, optimistic, and resourceful. His goals are to become a knight, serve the kingdom, and prove his worth. However, his peasant status, prejudice, and threats to the kingdom conflict with his goals. Thumper's strengths are bravery, loyalty, and determination. He can also be naive and impulsive at times. He enjoys exploring the forest and practicing with sticks in his spare time. Thumper wants to prove himself to help others. He fears failing and losing loved ones. His character arc is going from underestimated peasant to honored knight. Well, let's just see what it generates, because now we're supposed to do the same thing with the conflicting counterpart. Whoa. No idea is too small for Plot.dot. Okay, let's forge a villain. We haven't got time to sit here and work through the entire thing by hand. James says, I haven't used this at all, but it honest to goodness feels more like querying a database than actual AI script writing. Like the data warehouse would be monstrous, but all of these elements could just be a cell in a spreadsheet mapped in when you need a specific ID parameters. Oh, Count Ravenwing, the sorcerer. Okay, so once a kind wizard, Ravenwing became twisted in pursuit of power. He schemes to control the kingdom through dark magic. Okay, so a sorcerer. All right, dark magic, persuasions and lies, alchemy, studying dark magic tomes, and raising undead rabbits. Whoa, okay, that's not something I had in Rabbivania. But he's this dark magic and potions, and his hobbies are studying dark magic tomes and raising undead rabbits. Okay, weaknesses, arrogance, obsession with power that blinds him. That seems like a pretty classic bad guy for this type of tale. So, all right. Not, no, not kindly Count Ravenwing. Friends and foes. Cohort's Corner. Your supporting squad enriches your narrative with depth and complexity. All right, let's generate supporting cast of characters. Oh, maybe he does. Maybe he practices on the outskirts of the kingdom. That's funny. I didn't think about that. Maybe his castle is Ravenkeep. All right, we got Princess here. Princess Lily Petal. Oliver Long Whiskers. Okay, so wait a minute. So let's so it does come up with, okay, so Rosie Cottonfoot, Thumper's younger sister. She admires her brother's bravery and dreams of becoming a knight too. Oliver Long Whiskers is a veteran knight and weapons master who sees Thumper's potential and trains him, becomes a mentor and father figure. That sounds like a character we could need. Otherwise, Princess Lily Petal, the lonely but brave princess who chafes under the restrictions of royal life. I think we need, if he's going to become a knight, we really need Oliver Long Whiskers here. It said that one of his hobbies are meditating. Oh well, I guess so maybe we can have more than one. Let's put in the princess. In fact, while that's going, I'm going to warm up my coffee. Just 1 second. Oh, it's time for a Yeti hug break. Yeti hug break, Yeti hug break. Everybody go hug yo Yeti and show yo Yeti some love. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, yeah, princess. All right, let's add Princess Let's add in Princess Lily Petal. Princess Lily Petal likes stargazing, reading adventure stories, and writing poetry. This seems like a lot of fun. Well, yes. Okay, so this seems, it could be like it's not. At least this one's not saying, "Hey, type in a short prompt and then." Okay, let's just go with those two, Princess Lily Petal and the Knight. Seems to make sense. Far less frustrating than trying to force. We'll see what it generates, though. We'll have to see what it generates. Storyline setup. Define its genre, style, and literary techniques, and even plot out individual acts if you prefer more structure. Narrative nurturing. So this is where we're talking about the title, the acts, the settings, the genre, subgenre, rating, theme, voice, style, foreshadowing, subplots, conflict, structure, exposition, climax, and revolution. Warm coffee and a warm hug. Yeah, that warm coffee and a warm hug from your Yeti. Oh my, when I was doing the filmmaking, that I was looking into the AI filmmaking, I've got a whole song about the Yeti that ChatGPT wrote. So I had ChatGPT write me an entire song about having a Yeti hug break. Maybe at some point that would be a good test to see if I could do some type of music video based on the Yeti hug break. So let's just say we plot. All right, so this is like all being generated here, right? Then next is act. Okay, so then next is act attack. Maybe that will let us generate something. We'll see what it's like. This does seem like it's understanding something more. Now I still have very little hope. I still don't have a lot of hope, but it's of course we like structure around here. I like structure. We talk about story structure quite a bit. So structuring this like this is probably better. All right, so we got 3 options here. The reluctant hero. Believing in yourself allows you to create greatness. Thumper practice foreshadowing includes Thumper practices sword fighting in the woods, foreshadowing his future knighthood. This will be the hero's journey. Thumper dreams of being a knight but feels trapped by his peasant status. Thumper reveals the sorcerer's evil plans and defeats him, saving the kingdom. That's the climax. Resolution. The king rewards Thumper with knighthood for his bravery. Conflicts will include self-doubt, the prejudice he faces, dangerous threats to the kingdom. Subplots. He trains in secret to become a knight. He rescues the princess and becomes a hero. The evil sorcerer undermines his achievements. Acts include dreaming of knighthood, training in secret, rescuing the princess, defeating the villain, and becoming a hero. Or we could go with forbidden love. Forbidden love. PG-13 this time. Love transcends social class. passionate. Foreshadowing. Lily gazes wistfully out of her window at Thumper in the village, foreshadowing their future romance. Peasant Thumper crosses paths with Princess Lily, causing an instant connection. Climax. Thumper and Lily stand up to the king and sorcerer to defend their love. Resolution. Their love prevails and the class barriers fall. Conflict. Their class differences. The king's disapproval. The sorcerer trying to separate them. Thumper and Lily bond over feeling trapped. They meet in secret against the rules. The sorcerer tries to keep them apart. Acts. Instant connection, random secret rendezvous, standing up for love, declaration of love, and happily ever after. That actually sounds reasonable. Zero says you'll be needing to buy your favorite snack in pounds if you're going to use this AI, Heath. Keep us informed when it spirals downward to learn its error. Almost Lady Hawk. If you had generated more stuff yourself toward this story, some of those might sound good. Let's go with the classic. So the Uprising is political drama. PG-13 revolution. Thumper has repeated standoffs with cruel knights, foreshadowing the coming revolution. Thumper experiences the injustices that peasants face in the rigid kingdom, and then he leads a massive uprising of peasants to the palace gates. The king agrees to give rights and powers to the peasants. Okay, let's go with the classic, The Reluctant Hero. Let's go ahead and go with that one. The love story could have been intense too, but let's go ahead and go The Reluctant Hero, go the most classic kind of thing here. So, act attacked. A flawlessly conceived act paves the way for your story's effortless progression. Okay, so here are the acts that it identified. Dreaming of Knighthood, Act 1. Act 2, Training in Secret. Act 3, Rescuing the Princess. Act 4, Defeating the Villain. And Act 5, Becoming a Hero. Okay, carve the acts. Carving acts. All right. This is still not Bob Iger typing one sentence and getting a movie. Yeah, I wonder why it did that. Yeah, it didn't go classic 3 act and it didn't just go 4. So let's see. Let's see what it says happens in each one of these. Dreaming of knighthood. Thumper yearns to be a knight but faces prejudice as a peasant. He practices sword fighting in secret, foreshadowing his future knighthood. Sequences briefly describe each sequence in the act: longing for adventure, practicing in secret, humiliated at court. Theme: believing yourself. Pace leisurely. Key events: Thumper dreams of being a knight. He faces prejudice. He starts training in secret. Locations: Thumper's village, the forest, the royal castle. Okay. Training in secret. Under the mentorship of Sir Longwhiskers, Thumper trains to become a knight while hiding his peasant status. We will need grueling training, a mentor's wisdom, keeping secrets, self-improvement through hard work is a theme, steady pacing. Longwhisker agrees to train Thumper. Thumper endures intense training, keeping it all a secret. The forest, Longwhisker's cottage, and the village. Then we got to go rescue the princess. When Princess Lily is captured, Thumper rescues her to become a hero despite his present status. Impressing the court, the princess vanishes and then mounting a rescue. Fast-paced. Thumper impresses the royal court with his skills. The princess is kidnapped. Thumper rescues the princess from danger. We will need the royal castle and the evil sorcerer's lair. We will defeat the villain. Thumper exposes the evil sorcerer's treachery and defeats him, saving the kingdom. Uncovering the plot, battling the sorcerer, liberating the kingdom. All right. Well, let's take it. Saving the axe. All right. Dive deeper. Whoa. Okay, so what next? Harmony of acts. Oh, wow. There's a lot here. Welcome to Harmony of Acts, your stage to plot out each act of your screenplay. I mean, other than the fact that it can recommend stuff to you, like we're doing the almost all recommended stuff for you to choose from. I hadn't seen a whole lot of the AI stuff. Right? It's still just the workbook kind of stuff. But if you already had a bunch of characters in your mind, maybe this would help. Welcome to Harmony of Acts, your stage to plot out each act of your screenplay. Choose an act, plan the sequence, and watch your narrative take intriguing turns, captivating emotions, and propel towards a climax. Sequence composition. Each sequence is a key player in the symphony of your acts. They knit together in a seamless flow, punctuating your narrative with intrigue, structure, and momentum. Okay, compose a symphony. I actually thought this was when I first saw compose symphony, I thought we wanted to come up with like AI generated music or something for my screenplay. So these are the different sequences, like this: the longing for adventure, practicing in secret, humiliated at court. Okay, so you could adjust all of that. Oh, I got to do this for each one. Let's do it. We'll just accept whatever it recommends, and we'll see if it ever actually gives us a screenplay. Anybody else been prepping for NaNoWriMo? I've got to finish taking into account what Doug sent me for the Christmas story when I do my writing for today. I didn't get as much work done yesterday, but been getting the Kickstarter page for the Christmas story. Looks really nice. Kickstarter, I noticed, has gotten more sophisticated. I also actually noticed that it was integrating with a Pledge Manager. It asked me if I wanted to integrate with Pledge Manager. So I guess they're just never going to come up with their own back end. And I guess they just decided that, hey, we'll just use somebody's back end that's already been created. James has been working on NaNoWriMo. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. All right, let's at least it's stepping. I mean, at least it seems like it's saving a bunch of stuff. Like if you had to work with ChatGPT this way, with a limited token count, it's dealing with all of its limited memory. At least you're saving some information in the prompt that it can refer to. If usable backup is at work on the computer, I'll be fine when it starts. If usable backup is on the work computer, I'll be fine when NaNoWriMo starts. I hope it is there. Yeah, I don't know Lady Hawk. So Lady Hawk is a medieval fantasy film where cursed lovers, Navarre and Isabeau, are separated by a curse of a bishop. She's a hawk during the day and he's a wolf at night. I'm going to look that up. Lady Hawk, 1985. Huh. Okay, I'll check that out. Robert says, and Robert would know. Robert says that's the key. The key is saving persistent information. So it looks like they knew that here, and so that's what they're trying to do, and allow you to enter a bunch of info. All right, let's see here. Shape the show. Oh my lord. Scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. Well, let's just do it. Lady Hawk is great, but also kind of a weird movie. Oh, we have some type of error here. Hopeful, excited string cannot represent value. Compassionate, curious string cannot represent. What? Lady Hawk is a 1985 medieval fantasy film directed and produced by Richard Donner and starring Matthew Broderick, Rutger Hauer, and Michelle Pfeiffer. Okay, I guess we didn't have our error this time. Oh, I just noticed that Thumper carries a package for an old rabbit in the village square. He's on a busy morning as villagers start their day. He herds sheep that have wandered astray to show his kind heart and selflessly helping the townsfolk with chores and errands. So apparently these rabbits are sheep herders. I wish it would give me an example of what it thinks the screenplay is going to be like. Lady Hawk suffers from the problem of the main character being the one watching things happen to far more interesting side characters. Matthew Broderick's character is the viewpoint, but has no actual role in the story, not meaningfully. So what does it want you to put for each scene? It wants a title. Enter a concise description and title for your scene. Purpose. Highlight the objective or aim of the scene in the broader context of the narrative. Beats. Outline the key events, actions, and emotional shifts that occur within the scene. Mood. Let me just accept. Mood. Specify the emotional tone or feeling that is dominant. Theme. Specify information about how the scene fits into the larger element. Title. Time. Specify the time of day or exact moment the scene takes place. Place. Describe the location where the scene occurs. Atmosphere. Provide the scene's mood or ambience to set the emotional tone. But this has gone on into a whole lot of workbook style stuff. The general workbook over here on the screenwriter's guide, I don't think it's not anywhere near this detailed. But if you want it to, I guess, from the prompting perspective, like I wouldn't ever write out all of those things in advance. Like if I'm trying to write something, like what is my atmosphere? What's the for every single scene, stuff like that. You're just kind of feeling that as you go, I think. But you got to specify that to the AI. It better do a better job. Yeah, see, in order to make this thing useful, you've already got to have your whole outline. Yeah, you really do. It's not you have to do all of your structuring. And I guess if you don't know what to outline or what to do, it's giving you the forms to fill in. I'm in this now, so I'm going to keep going. It's not this one's not conversational. Now, an advantage of the Chat GPT way of doing things, I guess, is that it's quasi conversational. With back and forth, with some kind of back and forth discussion. When I think of doing this with like an AI collaborator, I do kind of think of back and forth discussion, which is not what we have here. I was able to kind of talk to Chat GPT. It didn't do very well, but I was able to talk to him, talk to it, or let it fail and tell it what's wrong so you can replace it. Yeah, hopefully we get like that's what I was talking about with the discussion. Hopefully I could talk to it about it and not have to like go back and re-enter a whole bunch of stuff into slots. Oh, I got another error. Let's try it again. I don't want to have come this far and not actually be able to do it. I may need more coffee at this rate. All right. The princess vanishes. The princess goes missing. Thumper investigates her chambers. Thumper questions the sorcerer. Thumper finds evidence the sorceress took her. I mean, at least that seems logically coherent. Princess goes missing. Thumper investigates her chambers. Thumper questions the sorcerer. Finds evidence the sorcerer took her. Mounting a rescue. No, PH says Matthew Broderick's character can be seen as a classic example of a reluctant hero. It says that it was Lady Hawk was filmed in Italy, and the different castles that formed what were its sets. It was nominated for 2 Academy Awards in the categories of Best Sound and Best Sound Effects Editing. All right. Rescuing the princess, defeating the villain. Thumper notices Sorcerer acting suspicious. Thumper sneaks into Sorcerer's room and finds dark magic books. Thumper follows Sorcerer and hears him talking about his evil plan. Of course. He is being classic mistake. Sitting here talking about your evil plan. Thumper tells Princess Lily his suspicions. Thumper and friends plan to stop the Sorcerer. I wonder if the undead rabbits come into this. After all this is going to be really disappointing if it's just as bad as ChatGPT. Battling the Sorcerer. If you want it just to generate this, it could do with less clicking. PH says his presence introduces an element of humor and light-heartedness to the otherwise dark and mystical tale. He aids the heroes with his cunning, but also becomes instrumental in helping them break the curse. I'm curious about this one now. Let me add it to my reminder list. Okay, click, 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 click. Liberating the kingdom. Thumper reveals the sorcerer's treachery. The king rewards Thumper with knighthood. The kingdom celebrates being freed from the sorcerer. All right. So then defeating the becoming the hero. Gee. All right. Triumphant return. Crowds gather. Confronted by a bully. Former bully apologizes and celebration feast. Oh, so we're resolving something with a. I don't remember that being in the beginning, but we're resolving something with a secondary character. This seems like a lot that happens after the defeat of the sorcerer. But triumphant return, crowds gather, confronted by a bully, former bully apologizes, celebration feast. And yet there's still more to go. It seems like if it's doing its 5-act structure, there's a lot after the climax. Knighting ceremony. Pre-ceremony nerves, kneeling before the king, rising as Sir Thumper. Yeah, this sounds like the ending is probably taking too long. All right. Hopefully I didn't miss one. Sable says, I don't agree. I don't argue any of that, but he's still the lightly humorous sidekick. The story presents him as the viewpoint main character, but he's just not. If you're coming in and coming out here, if you're just showing up, we're trying to use this Plot.ai, but it is a lot to have to add information in. We looked at how bad just ChatGPT was at creating a movie script. And this is supposed to be specialized software for AI software for script writing. but you have to load in a whole bunch of variables. We've been at this for a while, and we've just been having the AI generate it. I mean, it would be too much to sit here and so wait. So I did. Looks like I missed one. So Dreaming of Knighthood, sequence 1, Longing for Adventure. Looks like we got it. So wait, Dreaming of Knighthood, Training and Triumphant. So I'm missing. We'll just frame it. Let's get this done. The good news is that Iger won't be locked out of a rabbit character named Thumper. Yes. The AI is thinking. Okay, triumphant session, submit that. Okay, initiate scripting. We finally got to the point. So initiate scripting. All right. Content will be generated here. Scriptify. Aiding the town. Okay, so let's see what we got here. If we got to do this for every single one. All right, let's see. Dreaming of Knighthood. That's odd also that it won't let you like just go to scripting for the first part of it, that you got to go through this entire sequence for the entire script, which is not the way that I work. I mean, maybe it should be. I got to get the whole beat sheet down, but I started writing and getting into the ideas before I had the complete end. All right, so Dreaming of Knighthood. Let's see how it starts. Longing for Adventure. Scriptify. Scene scriptification underway. All right, let's just say scriptify. If this is good, it'll be impressive. If it's bad, it'll also be impressive that it took this long to get something bad. All right, so here's what we got. Dreams of Glory. This is sequence Act 1, Dreaming of Knighthood. Sequence 1, Longing for Adventure. Scene 1, Dreams of Glory. I guess that's what this is supposed to be. Interior, Thumper's bedroom, dawn. Thumper gazes out of his bedroom window at the sunrise. A look of longing crosses his face as he imagines himself on grand adventures, sword in hand. Thumper, one day I'll be a knight on a quest to save the kingdom. Thumper picks up a stick from the floor and pretends to parry and thrust like a knight with a sword. Thumper, take that, you scoundrel. I'll defend the kingdom from any threat. The sound of hooves clomping grows louder. Thumper drops the stick and rushes to the window. Thumper's point of view. Two proud knights ride majestically through the village on horseback. Villagers stop to watch the knights pass. So if these are rabbit knights, we got some huge horses or some very small horses. Villagers stop to watch the knights pass. Thumper's eyes shine with admiration. Thumper, if only I could be one of them. Thumper sighs wistfully. The sounds of the waking villagers grow louder. Chickens clucking, carts rattling, villagers chatting. Thumper takes one last longing look out the window before turning to get ready for the day's chores. Thumper, one day, fade out, end scene. Once again, I would say we have no subtext here. Everything is on the nose. Exterior village square morning. The village square bustles with activity as villagers begin their day. Thumper, an eager and young peasant rabbit, carries a large bundle of packages from Mrs. Cottontail, an elderly rabbit. Mrs. Cottontail, bless you, young Thumper. These packages are dreadfully heavy for these old bones. Thumper, happy to help, ma'am. Thumper's ears perk up at the bleating of sheep. He spots a small flock wandering toward the village gates. Thumper continued, "Oh no, the sheep!" Thumper hands off the packages and hurries to herd the sheep back toward their pen. The sheeps baa stubbornly as Thumper tries to corral them. Thumper, come on, back this way. Thumper finally gets them back into their pen. He locks the gate with a satisfied nod. Nearby, a straggling child cries by the well. Thumper brings him a cup of water. There you go. No more tears. The child smiles brightly at Thumper. Thumper grins, happy to help. But his smile fades to longing as he watches a patrol of noble knights ride by. He dreams of adventure beyond this simple life. Someday. James says, waking up to introduce a character can be cliche. Also, longing look can be exceptionally vague. Yeah, well, yes. And like how a longing look crosses his face as he imagines himself on grand adventures. Like, how are you supposed to communicate that to the audience? That's again the writing. That's the not even the dialogue. It's just very straightforward. So what he's supposed to do? He's supposed to be imagining himself on grand adventures. How does the audience know he's doing that? Right. He should express the longing via dialogue. To be clear. Right. Yes. Exactly. There you go. No more tears. Nobody. A straggling child cries by the well, and for some reason, Thumper brings him some water, or I guess gets some water out of the well, but it says brings him a cup of water. What do you do with a crying child? Just say, "Here you go. Have some water. No more tears." Doesn't anybody want to know why this child is crying? Countryside, afternoon. Thumper hops up to a meadow dotted with wildflowers. The grass ripples in the breeze. Birds chirp in the distance. Thumper's nose twitches as he surveys the landscape. His eyes light up when he spots a hill in the distance. His eyes light up when he spots this hill. Okay, hilltop, moments later. Thumper scrambles up the hill on all fours. At the top, he stands on his hind legs and gasps. Thumper's point of view, panoramic view. Rolling green hills stretch to the horizon. In the valley below, the castle towers over a village. Knights on horseback trot along a road. Thumper's eyes shine with wonder. Later, Thumper follows a babbling stream through a shady glen. Dragonflies flit and dance above the water. Thumper dips a paw in the stream, smiling as minnows nibble his toes. Rustling leaves make Thumper's ears stand up. He dives into a bush just as two knights on horseback trot up the trail. Thumper peeks through the leaves as they pass. Once they're gone, he hops back out with a sigh. Exterior countryside, later. Thumper sits on a fence post, watching the sun sink toward the horizon. Thumper, wistfully, someday that'll be me. I don't think we're getting anything great here. Now, admittedly, we took everything that it all of its general prompts. They're riding around all the time. Let's see. You can't. Need to stay away from imagination and thought for film. Yeah. Like I said, this wasn't impressive to me. I was expecting some kind of outlining tool working off some type of the script templates and whatnot. Plot Factory or Novel Factory would probably be a better tool for this kind of thing. I can see using the workbook style pieces to help prompt you from an outline, but that's the only value here at the moment. And I know you don't actually get your outline back. I'd want your outline like a beat sheet. That would be something. Okay, if you think about these things, then here you go. Here's your outline to start writing, but we don't get those back. Yeah, these knights, they're just riding around all over the place. Many times and wistfully looking at them. Let's see. So this is supposed to be determined beginnings. Is this when the knight shows up? No, I guess not. Interior forest. Interior forest dawn. In the dim morning light, Thumper, a young brown rabbit with eager green eyes, sneaks quietly through the underbrush into a secluded glen. Thumper picks up a long stick from the ground and gives it an experimental swing, nearly losing his balance. He steels himself, gripping the sticks tightly in both paws. Thumper, have at you, scurvy knave! Thumper leaps forwards, jabbing and slashing the stick enthusiastically. He attempts an agile spin move, but trips over his own feet, tumbling to the ground. Brushing himself off, Thumper tries the spin again, more slowly this time. His face is a mask of gritty determination as he practices the same move over and over. Later, Thumper's fur is dirty and matted, shallow cuts forming bruises. How do you see bruises on his fur body? Shallow cuts and forming bruises dot his body. Still, he continues. So he's beat himself up out there. Practicing by himself, his fur is dirty and matted. He's got shallow cuts and bruises are forming all over his body. He's beat himself up. Still, he continues with dogged persistence, repeating each motion until he can perform it smoothly. Thumper panting, I will be a knight. With a fine, at least he's got what he wants. At least we don't have the problem with you don't understand what this guy wants. With a final valiant charge, Thumper collapses onto the grass, exhausted but smiling with satisfaction. His stick falls from his limp paw. Intense. Does he have a volleyball sidekick named Wilson? He needs some type of sidekick. Thumper then hops along a forest trail, eyes glued to the ground. He stops and examines a set of small footprints in a dirt path. Rabbit tracks. Has to be Peter. Thumper's ear perk up at a snapping sound. He dives into a bush. A fawn enters the trail, stopping to nibble leaves. Thumper studies the fawn from his hiding spot. Once it moves on, he emerges and tries mimicking how it walked. Light steps with precision foot placement. Okay, is walking like a fawn going to be important later? Thumper approaches the muddy area with jumbled animal tracks. He kneels down, scrutinizing the prints. Those are from Oswald's chickens, and this one is a fox print. Thumper smiles proudly at his progress. He grabs the stick and heads off toward the trail, determined. I don't know where we're going with this. Thumper stands in a greasy glen surrounded by grassy glen surrounded by tall trees. Dappled sunlight filters through the leaves. A long stick rests in his paws. With a look of intense concentration, Thumper whacks the stick against the tree trunk repeatedly, strengthening his arms. That strengthens your arms? He practices lunging and parrying against imaginary foes, working diligently to improve his footwork. Thumper's movements are enthusiastic but awkward. Thumper stumbles slightly but quickly rights himself. He is alone but glances around consciously as if worried someone might see his amateurish skills. With a determined crunch of his nose, Thumper resumes his solo practice session with renewed focus, swinging the stick forcefully. Well, I tell you what, let's jump down and let's see. So he's got to go back and he trains with that knight. Why does it have to be Peter? Did Thumper read the script? Yeah, I know that was okay. That has to be Peter. I mean, yeah, that would have at least been there. A greasy glen would at least be surprising and interesting. PH says, by the way, what if episodes 7, 8, and 9 were awesome? Increased their videos time from 25 to 45 and finally 56. They had a great response from viewers and the love shows through. I'm going to check that out soon after this. Thumper hops. This is when he's with the knight. Thumper hops along behind Long Whiskers through the misty forest, shivering and rubbing his arms to stay warm. His stomach growls loudly. You'll have to forage for your breakfast, lad. A knight must become self-reliant. Thumper sighs and begins scanning the forest floor. He grabs a mushroom and goes to take a bite before Long Whiskers snatches it from his paw. Not that one. It's poisonous. You've got much to learn about surviving out here. Long Whiskers leads Thumper to a bush full of red berries. He plucks one and eats it. Those berries, though, perfectly safe. Go on. Thumper tentatively eats a berry. His face lights up with the sweet taste. Montage. Thumper tries unsuccessfully to spear a fish with a stick, splashing water everywhere. Long Whisker shows him which plants are edible greens. Thumper just manages to trap a squirrel and then lets it go free. You did well today, Long Whisker said, but the forest can turn in an instant. Never forget, lad. Respect her bounty. Beware of her perils. Long Whisker scans the surrounding dense tree and bush. No sign of intruders. He motions for Thumper to follow him to a secluded glen. Thumper, are you sure no one will find us here? Long Whisker is positive. I'm the only one who knows about this place. Now let's begin. We've got a lot of training ahead of us. Thumper nods and unsheathes his wooden practice sword. Long Whisker picks up a bow full of arrows. Was he going to shoot him? Here. We got a lot of training to do. You stand there with the sword. I'm going to shoot you from over here. Thumper practices his footwork, lunging and parrying against a moss-covered tree. Long Whiskers watches closely, stopping to adjust Thumper's stance and grip at times. Keep your feet wide and center low. You'll have more power that way. Thumper tries again, lowering his stance. Long Whisker nods in approval. Archery takes focus, so they also teaches them some archery here. Well, I guess this is better than Thumper challenges the sorcerer. Then ChatGPT, but I still don't think particularly useful. A bow full of arrows. Yes, a quiver full of arrows. Yeah, I know. Well, he gets after the fish. Well, I skipped forward. I was just trying to go to something that might potentially be more interesting. But yeah, he tries to skewer a fish and then trap this squirrel. Yeah, James says it's definitely better than ChatGPT, but it's still more work to rewrite than start over. Yeah, and especially if you're like, okay, this isn't right, so then he's helping. What are you supposed to do? Go back and enter a whole bunch of things into those fields? You know, for all of those things, it's just too much. Let's see. This is Thumper challenges the sorcerer. Throne room, night. Shadows dance on the stone walls from flickering torchlight. Thumper, a brave young rabbit with a sword, bursts into the room. It's like we're introducing our main character over and over again. Thumper, sorcerer, your treachery ends tonight. He points his sword at the evil Count Ravenwing, an old rabbit in dark robes, standing by the throne. Thumper, I know of your sinister plans. Release your hold on the kingdom. Ravenwing, chuckling. Dear boy, you are confused. I serve only the kingdom's best interest. Thumper, liar! I have proof you plot against the royal family. Thumper tosses a rolled parchment at Ravenwing's feet. Thumper, surrender yourself now! Ravenwing's eyes flash with anger as he picks up the parchment. Ravenwing, you fool! You have no idea the powers you trifle with. Ravenwing conjures a sword of pure shadow into his hand. Ravenwing, it's a duel. If it's a duel you want, Rabbit, I accept your challenge. Ravenwing lunges at Thumper, swords clashing as they battle. Interior throne room night. Ominous magical energy crackles as the sorcerer summons the depths of his dark powers. Thumper raises his sword, poised for battle. Sorcerer, you dare challenge me, boy? I shall crush you with but a fraction of my might. The sorcerer thrusts his staff skyward. Jagged bolts of purple lightning arc from his staff toward Thumper. Thumper rolls out of the way. The bolts strike for the floor where he stood, scorching the stone. Thumper, your evil ends here, Ravenwing! Thumper charges the sorcerer, sword held high. The sorcerer swipes his staff through the air. A blast of energy knocks Thumper backward. Thumper slides away from the floor, but regains his footing. Sorcerer, foolish whelp, you are no match for my power. The sorcerer twists his hands with mystical shapes. Shadow demons materialize around him. Sorcerer, destroy him, my pets. This is very very cliche. The shadow demons screech and swoop toward Thumper. Thumper slashes with his sword, dispatching two demons in puffs of smoke. The two rake at him with spectral claws. Thumper parries and ripostes, but gets driven back. The demons continue their assault. Thumper destroys more, but starts to tire against their onslaught. Thumper nearly defeated. Well, so it's got the right kind of beats here. Thunder rumbles, and lightning flashes through the stained glass windows. Magical energy crackles to the sorcerer as he stands triumphant, hands glowing with power. Thumper is pinned to the stone wall by the sorcerer's magic, struggling in vain to break free. His sword lies useless on the ground. Sorcerer, it's over, peasant. You never stood a chance against my power. Thumper strains him with all his might, but remains trapped. Sorcerer continued. Now you'll witness the full extent of my dark arts. The sorcerer conjures a ball of swirling shadows and launches it at Thumper. It strikes him in the chest, and he cries out in pain. Thumper's head drops. The sorcerer laughs wickedly. Sorcerer, pathetic fool! Did you really think you could defeat me? The sorcerer gathers more power, his hands crackling with black energy. Sorcerer, time to snuff out your insignificant life. Now, this is getting brutal. Time to snuff out your insignificant life. He thrusts his hands toward Thumper. Just before the blast hits, Thumper's eyes snap open. With a mighty roar, he flexes his muscles and shatters the spell holding him. He drops to the ground and rolls, avoiding the sorcerer's attack. Thumper grabs his sword and scrambles back to his feet, battered but not beaten. Thumper, I will never yield to evil! He holds his sword aloft, silhouetted against a flash of lightning. Thumper defeats the sorcerer. A new day dawns. Light streams through the balcony windows. Birds sing triumphantly. Thumper picks up his sword from the ground. With renewed determination, he charges at the evil sorcerer. The sorcerer raises his arms, gathering dark energy. He hurls crackling bolts of magic at Thumper. Thumper leaps and rolls, narrowly avoiding the deadly blast. He continues to advance. The sorcerer gestures, summoning a ring of fire around Thumper. The flames roar. Thumper ducks low and jumps through the ring. He keeps his eyes locked on the sorcerer. Reaching the sorcerer, Thumper leaps high into the air, sword raised overhead. The sorcerer looks up in shock and terror. He cannot stop Thumper's attack. Thumper plunges the sword downward as he descends, driving it deep into the sorcerer's chest. The sorcerer screams in pain and rage. His eyes go wide as he realizes he is defeated. Dark energy crackles violently around the sorcerer. Then it dissipates into nothingness. Thumper steps back, removing his sword. The sorcerer collapses to the ground, slain. Thumper looks around triumphantly as sunlight bathes the balcony. Evil has been defeated. James says, if Ravenwing says, join me, I swear to God. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. Sable says, I will state the obvious repeatedly, Ravenwing. Young fool, I will state the obvious more emphatically and defeat you with cliche. And I will state the equally obvious, Thumper. Sable says, roll on the floor. We just switched from a dark and stormy night to an idyllic morning with the power of friendship. There's just the right exterior weather for both of those scenes. Trump trumps the trapper. Thumper trumps the trapper. Yeah, okay. Well, this would be a lot of work to try to go through, but I think it did get something better. Now, not great, but better than what we were getting out of ChatGPT. I had been saying that I think that the visual arts AI stuff, it's odd that we're getting both of them at the same time. That must have something to do with some type of tech that's common. Perhaps the generative tech that's common. I don't know. But we're getting both. We got the large language models and we got the diffusion models kind of at the same time. And I thought that the diffusion models for all of the two-dimensional and then also now video kinds of stuff is out ahead of what's going on with the large language model. This is better. I would say this is a step forward. I can almost see, well, I can't really see somebody using it that would have to go through all that outlining. But it's still a lot of clicking and clicking and clicking. But I could almost see somebody who had no interest in writing or, like skill in writing. If they're like, but I've got this story idea and I'm really into the visual side of things. So I'm going to do all the visual part of it, the illustrating it or whatever. I can almost see somebody using this battle sequence, as cliche as it is and full of tropes. I can almost see somebody using it, which is not what I got out of ChatGPT. But if you're interested in the writing side, like this isn't working. But I suppose it's good to know that it is better than ChatGPT, because it's good. I wanted to stay on top of kind of like what is the state of the art. So at least now we used it and we got to someplace. You'd have to like write this whole thing inside. So what do you do here? So if I got this, it does allow me to. I know of your sinister plans, you evil, evil rabbit. That's it. So I just type in it and then hit save. Script safeguarding. Okay. So I guess it looks like I've got 61 scenes. So I guess because I saved that one. So if I go over here and save this one, does it give me 2? Okay, now that I've saved it, I've got 2. It looks like I'm supposed to have 61 different scenes in here. And it also wants you to finish everything before you move on, like everything on one step before you move on, which is a negative. It needs you to let you work on different parts simultaneously. That's a big negative to me. All right. Well, thank you for hanging with me. And if you're coming in because you're interested in looking at this later because you're interested in what Plot.ai can do and what ChatGPT could do, well, now we know. So now we know. So I still don't feel like my job is going to be taken here. Guess we'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. And actually, this one is less useful in some of the ways because if, like I said, if I was stuck or I needed some type of brainstorming or something, I could just brainstorm immediately with ChatGPT. This one doesn't let you just immediately do some brainstorming or some conversation or something. So I guess they both have their uses. You might have ChatGPT up, try to brainstorm or help with some of this in here. But the action sequence was better than the beginning. All right. Do the non-AI thing and like the stream. Yes, please do. I should be asking that. Please do like the stream. If you're coming in, please do like it. That helps push the channel and the streams out to other people. So if you've enjoyed this, please do like the stream and subscribe if you've just found the morning grind. Would love to have you for the future. Thank you to everybody who's been joining me live, and thank you to everybody who watches on replay. All right, everybody, be creative, be constructive, and grind on. Get ready for NaNoWriMo. Let's do our work. Later, everybody.